I expect it a bit level as it is right now. Of course, since the situation in Ukraine is still very unstable, and hopefully it will be soon for peace in the world. I think everything is highly dependent on it, and of course the situation in Asia remains tricky. Of course, we hope we have passed COVID, but we're not sure, of course.
And there's some more uncertainties coming along. Of course, you see the developments surrounding the energy crisis. Public confidence in the economy is on the decline throughout Europe.
Thanks, David and Olaf, for joining in this conversation at IATA WCS. Let me just quickly ask you questions regarding the volume of cargo handled at Schiphol in the last few months. There has been a dip in the volume handled. If you can give us a sense of what has actually caused such slight dip in the cargo volume, and do you expect a rise in cargo volumes in the months ahead?
Excellent. Well, we, like in all the world, we have seen a dip in the cargo volumes. It's less, and in the last month it's about 13% less, which partly has to do with the situation, of course, in Ukraine, the war. We lost an important client of us, a big airline, which accounts for about 6% of total. And the rest is about 7%, which has to do with also the situation in Ukraine and, of course, the situation in Southeast Asia.
Do you expect the last quarter of 2020 to really pick up in terms of and match the volumes of last year?
I expect it a bit level as it is right now. Of course, since the situation in Ukraine is still very unstable, and hopefully it will be over soon for everyone, peace in the world. I think everything is highly dependent on it, and of course the situation in Asia remains tricky. Of course, we hope we have passed COVID, but we're not sure, of course.
And there's some more uncertainties coming along. Of course, you see the developments surrounding the energy crisis. Public confidence in the economy is on the decline throughout Europe. So that will probably prove to be a somewhat hard last quarter of this year, but in line probably with what we've seen up till now. Not a whole lot further decrease.
Let's also focus on the market. You have lots of interesting market that you concentrate on, the Asian market. Are there anything specific that you would like to talk about in terms of the market focus that you have?
Well, of course, we can talk about flowers. We have seen changes in flows of aircraft during the last years, where we could see that there was less capacity available for flights to Africa. So, for instance, flowers was a little bit less, but high tech has been doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's really the enduring effect of COVID, I think, has shifted. For instance, what Olaf already explained, the demand in perishables. So I think focus for us in the rest of the year and next year will be us picking up from the situation post-COVID. And then we're looking into different things as well. What we met your colleagues for in Mumbai was pharma. So we're looking at brushing off our pharma strategy to see with the stakeholders at Schiphol to see how we can generate more business on that front, and then try to have a good 2023.
I'll come to the product-specific question a little later, but when you look at the kind of geopolitical situations, geopolitical events that are taking place in different parts of the world, and then as a result, also because of the COVID, you do see a trend in terms of diversification of production centers and going beyond China, which used to be the major production centers. Are there any specific focus areas in terms of how you want to connect your airport to other major airports in the Asian countries? Of course, you did make a mention about Mumbai, which is basically on the pharmaceutical trade.
Right. So India is, I think, very important at this point, because it's at this point the only country in Asia where business can really be done. Probably within the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear some news from China about how developments are going to be. Hong Kong within the next 2 weeks is going to be a little bit easier to travel to, and that of course also has its effects on cargo. I think during the pandemic you really saw the tendency also from companies who couldn't get their goods coming in from Asia anymore to rethink the way their production lines go and see if they can put up own production lines in Europe. But then now coming at the end of the pandemic, those production lines are still not there. So it's more or less a waiting game for Asia to open up again and generate the streams as they were pre-COVID.
And it's remains to be seen in reality how much production facilities will come, for instance, to Europe and so on, or it will remain in Asia, but you get different policies on inventory and stock.
Of course, you see the labor shortages in Europe as well, so it's nice if you want to bring your production facilities to Europe, but then if there's no staff to man them, you can't do it. So I think in that respect, we'll see more of the historic lines opening up again. And of course, as Schiphol always has done, we remain focused on our network and looking at where to grow and where to build.
Did you find any surprises in terms of some good networks which are actually not doing well, but then you found other networks which were actually kind of surprised you in terms of cargo volumes coming in?
I think within a market that crumbled, aviation as a whole, the dominance of the stream of e-commerce goods coming in, I think that did surprise us because it just kept going.
And it's expected to remain.
Let's come to the topic of the digital transformation of the air freight industry. And I think when I look back in the last few years of what has been happening on the digital initiative projects and programs at Schiphol, I think there have been a lot that happened. Have all those now bringing in good benefits to the cargo business at Schiphol now?
I think it is one of the main reasons also why we were able to handle the increase in goods during the COVID years. So, and it keeps going because the Smart Cargo Mainport program never ends. It's always investing in a project where we have the stakeholders on board in order to cooperate with us on that project. And once it's finished, we go and have a look with the community at what's next, and it's really community driven, and that also keeps us on our toes because it's the customer or multiple customers who come in and say, okay, maybe we can address this. Then we see if there's a consensus on working on that project, and if there is, as an airport, we're always willing to coordinate and put in our effort to help the community. And then it's a community effort in order to bring the project to a good end. So it never ends. It just keeps going. And there's still a lot to be done still. For instance, we're now looking into RFS, the road feeder service, which is a major stream coming into the airport, for instance, from Frankfurt over the road into Amsterdam and then flying out. And that's really a stream we want to get our hands on with the community to see what's what, and also to be able to play our role as an airport operator in conducting things.
When I think about Schiphol Cargo, something that comes to my mind is that this was one airport that started the air cargo community system long time back, with bringing together different stakeholders of the airport. Airport becomes an anchor for getting these stakeholders in order to make sure that cargo business is smooth and it manages to optimize cargo resources to the maximum. To that extent, how significant is the air cargo community system at Schiphol now, and what are the kind of future outlook for the air cargo community system?
If you'd ask me, but I'm a proud Schiphol cargo worker, I think still the way we work with cargo and also with our community within, for instance, the Smart Cargo Mainport program is a lighthouse for how the rest of the airport could work. So in that respect, I think we've partially paved the way on how to cooperate and how to be successful together in addressing problems and solving them.
On the last topic, which is on sustainability, and I believe that all of us believe that digital solutions also is a way by which we can address the sustainability goals, sustainability initiatives. To that extent, how do you see your digital initiatives adding to or contributing to the sustainability programs of Schiphol Cargo?
I think it contributes a lot because in the cargo industry, because there are so many different parties in the sector, you always have handover moments, errors made, waiting, trucks waiting, people waiting, staff waiting. So I think when we have this digitalization project, Smart Cargo Mainport program, we improve the process, and that saves energy. It saves mental energy and it saves fuel energy, it saves diesel.
But David, do you think that digital programs can actually address sustainability?
I absolutely believe that sustainability and digitalization go hand in hand. If you look at the way we were doing our e-link project, it saves tons of paper at the airport by doing a pre-notification digitally. And that seems like a small step, but not if you look at the amount of paper wasted throughout the years. By doing things digitally now, we can do them better, we can do them more efficient, and we can save energy and save resources. So they go hand in hand. And that's just a small example. And I think there are loads of more to be found. So that will remain to go hand in hand.
And not only at Schiphol, but also at the source.
My last question is, what are you picking up from IATA WCS here in London?
It's actually, that was the same like last year in Dublin. It's good to connect still after COVID. Right now, we're here with the double numbers compared to last year. So it's good to meet new contacts and be able to connect with the old ones. And for us, it's very interesting to look at what, of course, competition is doing. And competition is looking at us, so it's nice to have the conversations about it, and it's always good to be in London, is it?
And we meet all the players in the cargo chain, and you make it together, you build it together, and after all, and the most important thing, it's people. Cargo is a people's business, so there's no other way than to meet the people in person to do business.
Thanks, Olaf, and
thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.